A very good evening to our viewers at home. Welcome back. Now, we are talking about the vehicle breakthroughs of Elon Musk with our tech expert, Brendon Petersen. Now, during Thursday night's We Robot event, Musk unveiled the Tesla Cybercab, a sleek silver and affordable self-driving car, and the Tesla Robovan, a versatile electric vehicle that can carry up to 20 people or goods. Let's explore the potential of these futuristic vehicles with Brendon's insight. Good evening, Brendon, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, for those who might not have followed the event, could you please give us a quick overview of what the Tesla Cybercab and Tesla Robovan are?
Yeah, sure. So the Cybercab and the Robovan essentially are Tesla's sort of latest foray into autonomous vehicles. So the cab itself is sort of like a sporty two-seater, fully electric self-driving taxi that's made to sort of be affordable. Target price, I believe, is around 30,000 US dollars. The Robovan, on the other hand, is a larger vehicle, and it's meant for transporting either, up to 20 passengers or, goods or people with goods, so that sort of combination. So these are sort of all part of Tesla's vision to be sort of bring autonomous self-driving vehicles to people without potentially you needing to be able to own a vehicle itself.
Now, taking a look at the Tesla Robovan, Musk mentioned that it could carry up to 20 people or goods. Can you tell us more on about the potential use cases for this vehicle and how it might transform transportation and logistics?
Yeah, so if you look at that sort of self-driving method for the Robovan and that size, you're looking at things like shared rides, similar to like a taxi or sort of shuttle service. So that could make mass transit more efficient. If you look at the logistics side, you're looking at things like last mile delivery, so transporting packages, goods, those sort of things more sustainably, more cost effectively, and especially sort of in dense urban areas, that could help reduce congestion. It could reduce emissions, sort of by consolidating deliveries into one vehicle instead of having lots of small vehicles going around. And for families or businesses, this could be a great solution for the group travel or for staff transport or for just holding larger quantities of goods.
Now I can only wonder what the e-hailing, services in South Africa are feeling like. Imagine the Uber Eats, if they can
Yeah.
actually, get themselves a Robovan, what would that look like? Now, seeing that the Tesla's new Cybercab and Robovan, it seems like the company is moving closer to a future of affordable self-driving cars. How far off do you think we are from seeing these vehicles on the road, and how might this impact transportation and the mobility in the long run?
So, it was all very sort of sci-fi, very futuristic, very sort of the realization of a lot of people's dreams when we saw, Cybercab and Robovan being unveiled. And, they're sort of talking about utilizing FSD, so full self-driving technology, so no sort of driver engagement at all. And it all seems amazing, but the problem is there's still a lot of regulatory challenges, a lot of technological challenges, because obviously you think about it, if you've got, sort of two or three or four or five or even 10 self-driving vehicles on the road, those are not the only, the cars and sort of vehicles on the road. So you've also got drivers, human intervention, you've got things like network stability, because you've got to be able to have a connection going through to those cars so they can make sort of, quick last minute decisions. So, there's all of those hurdles that still need to be overcome. And if you look at the US, unfortunately, and most of the world, regulatory infrastructure is not quite there yet that allows these sort of vehicles on the road. So it's a great vision. We've got a while to go, I think.
Now, there's a term that I'm just struggling to understand, which is unsupervised FSD. If you can just tell us a bit about
Yeah.
what does this actually mean, and what challenges do you think Tesla will need to overcome to making this a reality? I know you highlighted earlier on in terms of, some of the challenges the Tesla Robovan and Cybercab can impose at this point, but how would Tesla now go about overcoming these challenges?
Yeah, it's a bit of a tongue twister, unsupervised FSD. So it is full self-driving. That's what the FSD stands for.
Okay.
So that really sort of just means that the cars would be able to drive, without sort of any human oversight. So there's no sort of person in a driver's seat. And that's sort of the next sort of level of self-driving technology, the sort of full vision, where the car itself is able to make decisions in real time. So, let's say a car stops in front of it suddenly, the car that you're in, the self-driving car, will be able to make a decision. Oh, there's a car that stopped. We need to stop immediately, but still keep everyone safe. So all of those sort of things are sort of really what encompass FSD. The challenges again, around all of this is, there's safety. not just safety of the driver in normal conditions, but think about rain, think about, wind, think about, unexpected decisions by a driver alongside you if you're not driving in a, autonomous vehicle. As I said, there's regulatory approval. There's all sorts of edge cases and things that we can't even think about. You've also got to factor in, weirdly enough, things like climate change, because southern weather changes, those would impact things, unusual traffic. So, for example, there could be, say, a road blocked off somewhere. Now there's congestion of traffic in a section of road where there normally isn't. So all of those sort of things are the things that need to be factored into unsupervised FSD, to be able to make it that full sort of self-driving technology that's actually going to make this autonomy sort of a reality.
As South Africans, whenever we see such innovations come up, we like playing scenarios in terms of what would happen if it was in South Africa, where we know that we have, unfortunately, hijacking and somebody standing in front of you and the car decides to just stop. Or maybe there is no electricity at the robot stop and the four-way stop thing has to be implemented. There's a lot that we're actually trying to consider. But here's another question for you, Brendon. I'm seeing that other companies as well are also experimenting with self-driving cars like Waymo as well as Uber. How do you think Tesla's Cybercab as well as Robovan compare to these other efforts, and what advantages might they have in the market?
So I think Waymo is a great example here because Waymo has been operating in parts of the US, especially California, for quite a while. They don't look as cool as these sort of Tesla Robovans or Cybercabs, but essentially they just got cars with lots of big cameras on top of them. And even with those, where you can clearly see what it is and you sort of know what it is, there's been a lot of issues, on and off. I think there was just a few weeks ago, there was reports of a Waymo car that sort of stopped because some other car just sort of, I think, shot a red light or something like that, big undercorrection, and it had to be stopped by essentially traffic police, and it was like, what's going on? And then the car wouldn't move. And I think there was a case fairly recently also where a self-driving Waymo car actually got in the way of a motorcade for Vice President Kamala Harris. And that also caused its own sort of situation. So if you look at that way, this has been on the road for a while, and you look at sort of what Tesla's trying to do, you can sort of see where the vision that they've showed you at the event is a vision of the future, but the reality is we're not quite there yet. So I think it's a great vision for the future. I think this has always been Tesla's thing. Self-driving electric vehicles has always been a great vision. I think the reality that we've seen from Tesla and from most other companies is that we are quite a way before we get there. But I think what's nice about this is you get to see what the challenges are and you get to work on them real time. So I think that's really what's happening with these sort of Tesla vehicles right now.
We're seeing a lot of innovations by Musk himself has made the conversation around, the impossibilities become quite possibilities in the sense. But we're seeing that Elon Musk also unveiled the Tesla bot, an AI-powered humanoid robot that he says it could eventually be worth more than the car business. Do you see the potential for this robot to be a game changer in the industry? What are the key takeaways from Elon Musk's We Robot event that you would like for our viewers to sort of know about?
So I actually got to see, I wouldn't say a prototype, but a sort of model of one a couple of months ago when I was overseas. And this sort of robot assistant has not just been the dream of Tesla and Elon Musk. It's been a lot of companies. You'll see companies like LG, Samsung, I think Toyota even worked on something at one stage, where everyone's sort of looking at this humanoid robotic assistant in your home. I think it's a great idea again. I think, the talk around it as it was announced, the Tesla bot, or Optimus as he calls it, was that it's great if this is true. But as it turned out, a lot of the actions that we saw at the event, this robot was being controlled by people. So again, it's another exciting vision. I think there is a use case for it. Again, I think we've got a long way to go, but I think it could be a massive, massive segment.
Now, Brendon, just in closing, if you could share what really excites you when it comes to all these innovations, particularly seeing what Elon Musk has thus far unveiled for us.
I think you've got to have someone driving the vision of autonomous vehicles, and that sort of future of commute. I would probably prefer to not be Tesla. I think we've seen too many issues with them, unfortunately, but at least we have someone driving that future. And I think it's exciting that there is something to look at and something to look towards to show, the potential good that technology can do and not just, worry about the concerns and the negative impact of technology.
Brendon, thank you so much for this quite educative as well as insightful conversation around, the robot van as well as the cybercab that brings us to just a closer understanding of its potential as well as some of its dangers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Viewers at home, that was our tech expert, Brendon Petersen, sharing in some of the information around, what Elon Musk unveiled currently in terms of the, robot, or rather the robot humanoid, as well as the cybercab and the Robovan. Hope that was quite interesting for you. But for now, let's head over to an ad break. See you when we come back.